Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the Sandman. New York, London to Japan. I'ma show the whole world who I am. Boom, boom, boom. Major look.
Once again, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to World Combat Sports. Man, what's good, everyone? Hopefully your week is starting off just great. It's Monday. Salute to the ones who've headed out to work this weekend. Be safe out there. It's the first day to another day of prosperity. And, appreciate those who are out there getting it, grinding, and supporting those loved ones. And also big salute to the WCS supporters who tune in and check out the show. If you're in the building, as always, man, just touch that like button. It helps out. If you choose to donate to the channel, you can. Donations are welcome. I'm pretty sure you're checking out the thumbnail. I didn't see too many people talking about it, but yeah, I'm gonna speak on it because I do cover, multiple genres of combat sports. And today's topic is the one and only McLaughlin, former Green Beret, Special Forces, Army Ranger, who now competes as a woman in mixed martial arts, who now compete as a transgender woman in mixed martial arts. Now, if you look closely, let me bring up a different picture of this dude. All right. And please don't jump on my live being offensive. Come on, man. I'm not. You know what it is, man. You have individuals like McLaughlin who's saying he's following in the footsteps of Fallon Fox, another transgender who looked still like she was stronger than the women she competed against. And that's his motivation. That's his idol. That is his example that he's following as he made the transition out of the military into now as a grown man to finally be accepted to get this operation. It's crazy because he actually wanted it before he joined the Army. So just because his mother wouldn't allow it, he then joined the Army. Now, I'm going to get a little bit deeper into this because it's amazing how a man who was born a man will have that much strength and be cut from a different cloth, right? To be able to exist in the Special Forces unit in the Army, knowing that he wanted to transition into a woman before he even joined the military. This is amazing. that he was able to put on a facade and serve amongst special forces, man, because them special forces, they different type of dudes, man. And I salute him for his military service and also being a member of the Green Beret. Only elite few are able to go in there and compete in special forces in the army to serve as a special ops. But for him to compete in mixed martial arts right now, man, in Florida, of course, there's a lot of questions we have. He's competing at featherweight. Y'all know what weight featherweight is, 145 pounds. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. We're going to touch bases, and I'm going to do some screen shares on this topic because I want you to see how big this dude was. And for him now to be going through this transgender transformation, this dude was big. This dude was obviously, at one point in time, a legal killer in the army. I mean, Green Beret is some bad dudes. So let me pull up this other thumbnail. Bruce said, bro, I did a live with my bro Mad Chad on this subject 2 days ago. We usually get 300 views. So on this, we pushing 3,000. That's good shit, man. I have to check that out. You know, Bruce, to be honest, I haven't checked your live out on this. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely going to speak on my take on it. I can care less for the trolls who's going to be in here because it's pretty much, it's not anything derogatory, so to speak. But I absolutely have my views on this particular guy competing in MMA at the age of 38. And then every article I'm up here reading on this cat, they put brave on there. No, it's brave for men to be heterosexual, goddammit. It's brave for me to like women. That's what's brave. It's brave for me to have kids. It's brave for me to be able to take care of them kids for 18 long years. Go through the changes and transitions. It's brave of me to put up with their baby's mother. It's brave of me to do normal things. You know what I'm saying? As a man. This is abnormal. You was born a man and you transition and you still look like a man. And Florida Commission up here saying they checked his levels. Man, come on. Let's get into it, man. Shout out to Bruce Goes in the building, Tyrone Spencer, everyone else. What's good? So let me put this next thumbnail up here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. The dude on the left is the same dude on the right. The former Green Beret that's on the left, obviously at one point in time, he was in the gym. He was working out as a man. He had facial hair. That is the same dude that's on the right. The reason why I have this thumbnail up here is because no matter what attire or garments that you apply to your body, inside you still have hormone levels. I don't care what the Florida Commission says on this dude. You still was a bona fide, legitimate man. Still. The service member on the left, though he may have been going through mental changes in this picture also, this dude was built. He don't have the natural physique. This dude worked out. He was in shape. Now, you know, taking pictures as he transitioned into a woman, he still has a long ways to go. And he just competed against a female and they end up subbing her out in the second round. But this is the same person, y'all. This is the exact same person. So let's keep it moving. Check this out. This is Elena McLaughlin, 1-0 as a mixed martial artist. She would never be world champion. All right. I'm saying she because every article I'm reading, I from what I understand, he's fully transitioned into a woman. So they call her. You know what I'm saying? But check this out though. Let's go through some things right now. I want you to see some things. The name is Lady Farrell. All right. Competes at featherweight, which is 145-pound division. She has one win to her pro mixed martial arts record. And if you check this out right here, she won by rear naked choke, RNC, September 10th, 2021, at none other than Combat Global, which went off in the state of Florida. Her opponent was Celine Provost, and she earned her first win. Now, I'm no way, shape, or form mad at how she won because boxing does it all the time. You know, you have soft touches early on. That's not even a problem for me. My biggest issue is you're 38, okay? You decided to transition early on in the 2000s or whatever, and in 2016, I believe. Let me let me not lose the audience and screen share this other one. My next. Okay, Alana McLaughlin, before transgender photos and real name, everything on MMA fighter, which that is untrue. You know what I'm saying? But let's go through it. It says the young age transgender MMA fighter Alana McLaughlin made her successful start to her career by choking out her opponent in the second round in Miami. AK her on social medias is at Lady Farrell. All right, we're gonna get into that a little bit later. They talk about Elena is the first openly transgender athlete to compete in MMA in America since 2014. She won her mixed martial arts debut Friday, beating Provost, who is a woman. Look at the language. She bravely becomes only the second biological man after the super brave Fallon to successfully man handles a biological woman in her brave MMA debut. I don't know who this person is writing, but anyway, Elena is a former Special Forces soldier, which means she went through puberty as a boy, then trained professionally and built long-term physical adaptations as a man for years before transitioning. So what does that tell you? This individual right here trained as a man for quite some time before transitioning to a woman. Even though before he joined the military, he wanted to get the surgery and everything. So for a long time, he had this in his mind. I guess he was picking the right time to do it. So he trained as a man with those testosterone levels, with all the man genitalia, before he decided to say, let me transition to a woman so I can go over here and beat up on the women. 38 years old now. Your inspiration is to go over here and beat up women. In your mind, in your heart of hearts, you are a former Special Forces Green Beret. You are the creme de la creme in the armed forces. You are cut from a different cloth to be able to pass all the tests to be a Green Beret. You're a special dude. I used to kick it with some Navy SEALs, when I was in combat for a while, when they come back on the base a little bit and chop it up. Different type of dudes, man. All these spec op dudes, different type of dudes. They cut from a different cloth, man. You've seen the stories on how difficult it is to become a Navy SEAL, Green Beret, and all that. But for many years, this dude right here built up his physical strength and conditioning as a man. Moving on. Elena's transition, people have different kinds of opinion. One Twitter user tweeted, no matter their reason for the transition, the biological advantage exists, and specifically in the case of combat sports, which are violent and dangerous. This is my point overall. Not only did this guy become a special force soldier, he's now competing in a women's sport. I'm talking about on the women's side of mixed martial arts, inflicting physical striking disciplines damage to a woman. It's a lot of areas that I look at when I'm trying to imagine what is going on in this guy's head. Did he always have an issue with women to the point where he now wanted to compete in a full contact sport against them? I don't know, man. Something strange and disconnected for this guy to be 38 years old, way past his prime, knowing he's never going to be a mixed martial arts world champion, but to come over here and want to fight women. Not just become a woman, but now he wants to fight women. On Twitter, one user tweeted, nothing against Elena. She should live the life she chooses. But competing in MMA in the women's division when you have a clear advantage of body strength and testosterone levels is not right. I agree. They go on to say Elena was an ex-Green Beret. For crying out loud, her strength is beyond typical male. And this is all I'm saying, people. Look, this is what I'm saying. This dude, it's no way you can tell me his testosterone levels are where they should be to equally compete against a woman. Look at the photo on the left, man. Look at his photo on the left. If you was to see this guy in uniform, you would say, damn, that's a hardcore mofo right there. That's a warrior. He looked like he can go out there and slit throats and squeeze off and not even think, 1 second on what he did. Have no guilt about it, none. He looked like a killer out there in the military. This dude is special forces, formal special forces. And then on the right is whatever you want it to be. It's whatever you want it to be. Let me get to some of these comments, man. Tyrone Spencer in the building. What's good? Andrew Charles, if people are going to keep this up, then they need to compete in their own category. Talk to them, Andrew. Talk to them. Compete in your own category. Have a transgender category in mixed martial arts and have them compete for the belts. Then you will have more individuals who's transitioning. They'll probably want to take up the sport of mixed martial arts. That's a very true and solid point Andrew just made. Have them consolidated into their own group of competition. Because look, this is only men venturing over to compete against women. Where are the women trying to compete with the men? The same thing goes for a woman competing for in a man's sport and a man transitioning competing in a woman's sport. You should have your own group. I totally agree with what Andrew just said, man. Totally agree. Bruce, when does this become, let's say, when does this come to boxing? I want to see a woman transfer to a dude and see what he does and what we'll be saying. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm very curious to see what a woman who's transitioned to a man step into that ring against a real man. It would be total domination. And then people be like, "Hey, what was your thought process when you know you was fighting the first openly transgender in a male sport of boxing? I mean, did you believe you had to inflict as much damage as you did?" And then the guy's gonna be like, I was fighting him just like he was a him. It is no different. But obviously you had to know there was a gap in between you being a natural born man and she was naturally born a female and a woman, a woman. Do you take that in consideration? That would be the topic if a woman transitioned into a man's world when it comes to boxing and MMA, got their ass kicked, and then you have somebody coming up there trying to say and make it about the LGBT community and all that. That's not right. Because it's wrong either way you look at it. If a man like Elena McLaughlin is transitioning, former special forces, there's no way you're telling me his test levels are equal to that of his opponent. There's no way in hell his test levels is equal to that of a natural born woman. No way in hell, man. Can't mention the building. Salute to you. Boxing, what's good? Shevchenko and Nunez will still whoop this dude. Not sure if his or her weight division though. His weight division is featherweight, which is 145 pounds. Let me get through this article right quick. They talk about him being the second openly transgender woman to compete in MMA in the United States. She won recently. Okay. She subbed out Celine Provost via submission. All right. Check out another Twitter post. This is wrong. Woman Celine Provost left blonde facing trans woman and ex Special Forces Elaine McLaughlin right, pink hair in MMA, right? This still looks like the same guy that's wearing a uniform. Just because you sit up here and trim your hair doesn't make you any less than what you truly are. You still look like a dude. You come in here with pink hair and all this other stuff and wear a t-shirt, man, get out of here, man. Not only that, she began training a year ago. Look, a year ago now, this guy started training a year ago. The Florida State Boxing Commission, after having her hormone levels tested, who's doing that testing? Who's testing the hormone levels of this dude? Elena McLaughlin, aged 38, as she was born in 1983. Just take a wild look at this now. Tell me what you see. Just take a look at that. Is it any way in this picture did you see a woman? Is it? Let me go one step further. All right. Let me go one step further on who he's trying to be like, right? He's really truly trying to be like my girl Beth Rollins. Beth Rollins, she's a true bona fide female. And she has her style with coloring her hair different colors. And she's a wild child. I truly feel this guy is trying to emulate Beck Rollins. Real talk. That's who he's trying to emulate right there. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Beck has competed in the UFC, bare knuckles. I mean, she is a bona fide, true, authenticated woman. This person on the right-hand side is Elena going through transitioning, and it seems like she's trying to somewhat emulate the lip ring and do everything possible. She even has she has a tattoo around the neck. Still, we see through it, man. We see through it. Period. No matter what pictures that you put up there, heterosexual individuals are brave also. Heterosexual individuals who raise kids that are theirs are brave individuals also. We're brave. We have to go through things too. There's no way that you can produce kids. So it's brave for me to say that I've been able to raise kids in my lifetime that are mine. You all not only taking advantage, as Alan McLaughlin taking advantage of competing in the woman's sport, you cannot get pregnant as a woman, nor can you impregnate a woman. Third of all, you have to somehow adopt a child, and within your teachings or whatever, are you going to be fair enough for that child to be raised neutrally so they can make their own decision on who they want to date and who they want to be in their lifetime? That's my biggest question. That's my biggest question, man. I mean, we need a flag. Men who like women need a flag, man. I need a patch, because somehow, some way, man, we can put in the backfield in the dugout, like we need to be selected to play on the field and speak our mind about how special it is to love a woman, a natural born woman. You know what I'm saying? How special it is to be with somebody long enough to have a kid with them, in a sense, to be married to a woman, in a sense, raise your kids, see them grow up and have their own family. I mean, it's a special transitioning. It's natural, you know, to to be on that journey with your girl while she's pregnant, during the gestation period, and see your seed born into life. It's amazing. But those are not the same individuals. If you was to see this individual right here competing in there with a female, you would say that is a guy. Just like when Jimenez fought Cruz Lazern, you said that was what? She looked like a dude, even though she was transitioning into a man. Her levels were no way equal to that of Cruz Lazern. Her levels was higher. She was dirty as a fighter, and people act like it was against the law to speak on it. No, I'm speaking on both sides. Jimenez was wrong for taking an excess of testosterone to be a man and go in there and compete dirty against Cruz Lazern, subjecting Cruz Lazern to be in an unfair boxing match against an athlete. And I say the same for Alan McLaughlin. He's competing in a women's sport where his testosterone levels, his hormone levels, in my opinion, cannot be equal to that of his female opponent. No way in hell, man. No way. You tell me what you think when you see his opponent. His opponent looked like, I mean, female. Look how soft she looked. The shoulders aren't as broad. You know what I'm saying? The cheekbones, it doesn't look abnormal. But him, he still looks like a dude in transition. So you're trying to tell me the muscle mass that he has, even though he's making 145, the muscle mass that he has doesn't give him a clear advantage? Come on, man. Stop it. Stop it. Just to caveat off what Mitch said early, right? Shevchenko and Nunez will still whoop this dude, not sure of his or her weight division. Absolutely, because they're high level skilled athletes. Not so much Nunez, because Nunez, you know, if you already know Nunez, she has a title at 145, right? It wouldn't be fair, being that this guy has only been competing a year, training in mixed martial arts. Nunez would destroy this guy, destroy him. But just for FYI, the women's division, the highest division in the UFC, is 145 pounds. Now, when you venture outside the UFC, you will have divisions that are much higher, and they have lightweight. The lightweight division is 155 pounds. You know what I'm saying? PFL has a 155-pound division. I believe Bellator has a 155-pound women's division. Bruce say what they do is take mega doses of estrogen to close the gap with the high test ratio. Talk to him, man. Estrogen provides them that soft look that they're looking for. But one thing estrogen cannot shape immediately is the bone structure that you was born with as a man. That Adam's apple and that facial structure still above your shoulders will maintain its form for quite some time. It takes a lot of transformation. It takes years and years for a man to actually give that natural appearance as a woman. It takes years. Now, of course, I'm outside my scope of expertise. I'm just assuming and I'm guessing. Mitch said Dana White ain't having that shit in the UFC. No, Dana White is not going to put up with that. That's one thing I can say about Dana White. He's pretty solid in not having a clown show in there. Like, the only thing that Dana White entertained was CM Punk coming over from, World Wrestling Entertainment with zero to none MMA experience or training. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, Brock Lesnar did it. Yes, he did. But Brock Lesnar was already training mixed martial arts, and he was a freak. He had a wrestling background outside of the WWE, so it was easy for him to come over there and transition and win the title. Hey, he did it fair and square. A dude, 100%. Yes, man. This is a guy, man. This is a guy. Let me not, give you another glance at what we're talking about. The estrogen levels Bruce just mentioned. Look how this dude looked like he used to go to the gym on a regular basis, man. The tattoos are the same. Now he's taking all this estrogen and he's trying to soften his look. He still looked like a guy, and he's still going to have an advantage walking into the arena to compete against women. It's considered homophobic nowadays to want to settle down with a woman and start a family. Is there such a word there, Andrew? Is heterophobic? Is this such a word as heterophobic? Because that's where we at, really. Because if you're a straight man or woman, more so a guy, right? And you're out here advocating, how special it is to date the opposite sex, to be in the company of a woman and everything. And then, people try to ask you a crazy ass question like, then, if you feel that that's normal, why don't you feel that, in this community right here is abnormal? Because it is abnormal, because it's just certain areas that the physical anatomy is unable to reproduce life. That makes it abnormal. When I see women, they can have their hair whatever they want to have their hair. But when I see women that's trying hard to look like me, and then they're deepening their voice, that's a lot of work. And then, just to see some of these women is transition into man. I mean, some women don't transition to a man. They just try to emulate all the mannerisms and behavior of a man. But I don't understand why you're so mad at a man, though. Like, I'm in the ATL, Shouty, for real. I don't know why these women would they act so hard and aggressive. And look, I'm gonna use an old school term. They try to act so burly. Why, man? Why are you mad at the men, though? You have transitioned your entire persona into a man. You should not be mad at men. It doesn't make any sense that you would be mad at a man when you're transitioning into one, whether it be medically or just his entire makeup, the physical aesthetics of a man. You shouldn't be mad. But it really gets crazy when you have men. Their behavior is quite different when they transition to a woman, because it just seems like they try too hard to be outside of what a authentic natural woman act like. You don't see women who was born that walking around here being loud, rambunctious, and trying to get attention. And with that attention, some of it is positive and some of it is negative. You know what I'm saying? But women, I'm talking about, they walk they walk and they talk they talk. You see, you hear some loud women every now and then, but most of them, if they sexy, they know they shit on point, they're gonna let you bring the energy to them. But it's kind of the opposite when I see men is transitioning or trying to undertake that persona. They do too much. And then the people who give them negative attention, they call it gay bashing. They call it homophobic. That's not the case. It's your attitude that draws in the attention, whether it's positive or negative. That's all I can say on that. Looks like a man even after a beaten up face. Man, that's all I'm saying. It does, man. Thank God for blessing women. Thank God for blessing us with women. Cause never in my natural years that I should be able to be censored in talking about heterosexuality as a grown ass man. They're trying to push everything on commercials, the music industry, movies, and everything else in the schools and all that. And then your kids come back home, saying, okay, why is this flag hanging in the classroom? And then you might have a kid that's outspoken, and they go to school and ask the teacher, why is that flag there? That's not the American flag. Oh, it's a pride flag. The presence down here in Atlanta is very evident. Just take some time on the weekend and do your research. Well, I understand what the flag is, but I just don't agree with it. Why is that? You're homophobic. You know what I'm saying? They start taking this shit to a whole nother side that doesn't make any justifiable sense. They want you to be on the outside when they are the ones who trying to get on the inside. They're trying to become the absolute majority. They want you every day in your life to wake up and believe that's the way things was built from day one. when majority of the people in that community, we have to adopt someone else's child. How are you going to adopt someone else's child, whether it be a male or a female, and persuade them to change into a gender that's opposite of what they was birthed? That's all I'm saying, man. It makes sense. I know it makes sense, man. I know it makes sense. It makes sense, y'all. How are you gonna? I see this shit all the time. They will allow these couples to adopt because they believe, oh my God, of course. But a dude like me, they won't allow me to adopt a kid. They won't allow me to adopt a kid. If I want to go out here and adopt a white kid, you know what I'm saying? Take him out of that foster care. If I want to go out here and adopt a black kid, they want to put restrictions on me. But I'd be damned if I don't see these couples out here. Oh, it'll be a white couple with a black kid. You know what I'm saying? It may be a black couple with a white kid. I'm like, what? And then, of course, most of the boys that I see at a young age who has no idea what is going on, they're dressed in very bright colors, represent their adopted parents. That is absolutely influential biasness. You're dressing a young boy who has no idea what's going on. He just knows he's not in foster care no more. And you're dressing him in pink shirts, yellow shirts. You're making a point to have him blend in the society at a young age just because of his parents. I just don't see most of those couples being neutral. And there's no way you're going to convince me that that's fair. That's unfair, man. That's absolutely unfair. They would give these kids up, take them out the foster care, put them into a family who cannot bear kids. There should be some type of rule to that, because it just seems like they just let them go. Oh, you're going into a same sex. You have two females. You have two people that used to be female, now they're males or whatever. So either way it goes, you have two parents, same sex, right? Do you believe 1 minute that they're going to raise them kids to hopefully go out here and reproduce kids? I don't see it. I can't see it because too much of the time I see these couples having these kids dressed down and send a message to their community. And down here in the ATL, they have an entire community of where they live, and I have no problem with it. I'm not the president of the motherfucking state. I'm not the governor. But when you go to an entire community and that's what you see, and these people are adopting kids who are waking up to see a different shade of colors on the sidewalk, and they ask their parents out of curiosity, say, what is this, mommy and mommy? What is this exactly? Oh, this is our community. This is what we chosen. This is right. This is exactly what we want you to understand when people ask you questions. We want you to be absolutely educated so you can answer those tough questions and you can advocate for us when you're going through school. And when you see this flag right here, just make sure that you speak up and say, my mommy and my mommy are absolutely representatives of this flag right here, this pride flag. I think heterosexual people need their own flag now because they're trying to make us the minority and they're trying to convince themselves they're the majority. They are having laws passed to provide that extra support they need. This guy right here, I don't know exactly what's going to happen to Elena McLaughlin. I mean, to be that old competing in MMA, it's only so far his career is going to go. Fallon Fox, no one really remembers Fallon Fox coming in there, who was the first, trans man, transgender woman to compete in the sports. And now we have some of that going on in weightlifting. We had some of it go to the Olympics, but I believe the African sprinter, the 800-meter, supposedly she was a woman who produced a little bit higher testosterone levels. Casamayor, I'm not sure what her name is, but she couldn't fulfill her Olympic dream because she could not decrease or reduce her test levels. And from my understanding, she was born a woman. You know what I'm saying? But we have more trans athletes like men competing in women's sport. But I want to ask this question: why they're so weak? Why are you so weak? Like, what's going on? Like, they just has this man who looked like a man competing in women's weightlifting, and you're not stronger than the women. Like, the weight, you obviously wasn't lifting weights before you made the transition, and somebody told you, "Oh, you want to compete in the Olympics? Start weight training so you can try to make it to the Olympics to compete with the women." If it's that easy, in the future, I don't see a natural born woman winning the gold medal anymore. If you're gonna have trans men competing in the women's sport, women should be angry. You know what I'm saying? Just like in track and field, they had these two high schoolers who was competing with the women. These guys who, I don't know if they made the transition. They was black. These two brothers. They was running with the women, and they was beating them. And some black and white female athletes, they had a lot to say about it because they said it's not fair because it's going to limit them from potentially getting a scholarship or whatever. They was just putting the criteria out there of how they was disappointed in these obviously these guys competing in the women track and beating them. And they were saying, how am I supposed to excel as a natural born woman in my sport when now there are guys competing alongside us? I get it. I thought dude was Canelo in the thumbnail. Stop it, man. Stop it. Canelo, man. That ain't even close to Canelo, man. I mean, maybe Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they look almost damn identical, especially if you grab that picture when he was walking in heels. I thought AEW has a transgender woman champion. Even in the entertainment business, it's so unfair. The ladies just bounce off him even when she's pulling back. Just not right to me. Wrestling is different though, because it's scripted first and foremost, Bruce. I totally understand how you're trying to bridge that situation to this. Understand. It's still an advantage for a man to be in there with women competing in wrestling, but wrestling is a scripted sport, and they can absolutely choose who they want to win. The finisher is the finisher. So you have to go through all these choreographed moves as a woman, as a man, and it all depends on what the organization is trying to push. If they're trying to push this transgender to go in there and win a championship and bring in a different crowd, then they're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? They know who it is, but it gets a little crazy. See, I want to see them compete in football though. I want to see them on the line. Just put them on the line, man. Let's see them in football. Don't go in here and have a clear advantage beating up on women who are fairly green in mixed martial arts and you in a full contact sport where you can inflict damage, or you can out wrestle a woman, you still have that man strength about you. No, no, get the pass on and go play some football. Go play in the male league somewhere. That will separate a lot of them sneaking from sport to sport, trying to make a name for themselves because they're trying to push this shit. 3 of them pride flags fly in my neighborhood. Look, I totally get it. I mean, I see it all the time down here. The flags don't bother me except in the school system, okay? Because they was jumping up and down about BLM. Even though I'm not a supporter of BLM, they was going absolutely nuts about Black Lives Matter when everybody was flying those flags. People wanted to snatch them and goddamn burn them and all this other shit. But it's okay to some people, a lot of people, to place these flags in the presence of kids who are still in the cognitive process of learning. They're trying to tie all this chaos together in real life on where they're trying to, the direction they're trying to go in life. You know what I'm saying? They're confused, man. It's psychological chaos. Full-blown mania, man. These kids are going through in school. I'm just against the message that's being placed out here with dudes like this being able to compete. I'm against the school system and teaching our kids something that is not considered normal. Don't sit up here and try to convince kids that this is normal. It's not, man. You cannot reproduce kids. You cannot. You will never be able to convince everyone that the opposite sex isn't who they shouldn't be with. And try to say, well, this is my reasoning and this is the sources that I'm bringing forth to you, okay? I'm citing certain things on why same sex is better. No. People want families. They want their freaking DNA. They want their kids to look like them. These couples are raising somebody else's kids and turning those kids into their agenda. And these kids cannot grow up and have kids. Let's be honest, shawty. These kids can't grow up and have kids. They have to take somebody else's kid and take somebody else's kid. So what are you doing? You control the population? You cannot reproduce kids, shawty. You don't know what their parents was like. These kids are in foster care. You are adopting someone else's child who some way, somehow couldn't keep the kid, wasn't stable, whatever the case. I don't know. It's too many scenarios to go through. But now these kids you're adopting, they may have, if they would have went into a family with the mother and father and raised them kids potentially may have grown up to have a family, to have children that look like them, and to be able to reproduce kids of their own. You know what I'm saying? But in my opinion, adoption agencies are allowing these couples to adopt these kids. And I haven't seen kids that's out there neutral. I haven't seen it, man. I haven't seen these kids having the opportunity to be neutral human beings. If you're a boy, you have the opportunity to date a girl. And your parents might be 2 women or 2 men. Dependent. You know what I'm saying? Crazy billionaires. What about MGK? I'm getting to that, man. It's not all about MGK, really. It's all about Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was the instigator. MGK just let him know, just like T.I. let Floyd Mayweather know. He said, "You do it in the ring, I do it in the streets." MGK told Conor McGregor, "You do it in the cage, I do it in the streets." Bruce said, "Check out Yala Rose and Thon, and then tell me again. It isn't even entertainment anymore. Transgender shouldn't even be in a scripted wrestling. It looks really unfair, and it's testing even the marks." So let me. I think I know who Yala Rose is. Doesn't she look like a No, she looked like a sister. I think I was gonna say she looks like a Samoan, but let me see who this Yala Rose. Oh yeah, I've seen her on there before. So that's obviously. Oh my God, this is obviously the wrestling entertainment business is just not giving a damn right now, and they have this man. They have this man competing in the women wrestling. I guess it's a little bit safer being that everything is scripted. That's all I'm saying, Bruce. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's a little bit safer when it's all scripted. Let me put Yala Rose on the big screen because this is what I'm saying. Like, even though wrestling is scripted, I look at this individual and and they still look like they have a clear advantage. Look at the broad shoulders, man. Like you can tell the cheek structure in this athlete is still that of a man. Look at the guns on this dude. Though he's went through the transition, it looks like he has breasts. Still, his anatomy, his structure, and everything still looks like that of a man. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, yo. Jeez. They allow these couples to adopt before a single straight person. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I know for a fact that is true. That is true. I absolutely tried to do it in California. I guess I wasn't qualified as a military serviceman. They wanted to bring in my combat tour. They wanted to bring in um, stuff that I may have went through in the military. I guess that was too much. I called bullshit on it for real. I said, you want to make it difficult for somebody who served, but yet someone with a message and an agenda to absolutely transfer an innocent kid's way of thinking over to something that's absolutely abnormal, idiosyncratic. You want to just totally brainwash an innocent kid and say, yeah, can we adopt him and then adopt him and her? And then when you're able to have that kid in your presence, it's all about your message. I mean, these couples, in my opinion, majority of them are not raising these kids who's been through a lot up to be neutral. If the female wants to date a guy growing up, if the guy wants to date a female, you're gonna raise them up. I mean, what are you looking forward to do raising these kids? What are you looking forward to do? There's no way they can have kids to represent you. They're not your kid. So if you raise them up to be with the same sex, they're not gonna have any kids. Control of the population. That's what it is. You're prohibiting these kids who may be in foster care from having a family of their own, man, to look into that kid's eyes and say, you know what, you look like me. I see me and you. You have some of my same mannerisms. You can't sit up here and say that about a kid you adopted. That is not your natural born child, man. I don't care all the discrepancies, all the drama that couples go through. I'm talking about heterosexual couples. No matter the drama, it is natural, and as individuals, a man and a woman, we learn from one another, and we learn from situations. We learn. We learn how to process work with um a woman being pregnant. We learn the gestation period of nurturing that kid. They're born and go through the entire process of raising a seed that has all DNA strand that are birthed from two individuals. We learn of their adaptations, their behavior, their teachings, their cognizant process, helping them get through the critical period of learning. That shit is natural. And now I'm all for kids being adopted, what I'm saying, taken out of foster care and given the opportunity to choose. I'm all for that. But when you are prohibiting heterosexuals from adopting kids, and you're easily putting them into a household of same-sex parents, it's unfair. It is. It's unfair, period. They won't allow a single straight male to adopt at all, only in the most rare cases. Totally agree. D Hodges, what's good, OG? How you feeling, bro? What up, World Combats in the chat? Salute. What's good? What's good? Check this out. Let me get to my boy, Conor McGregor. All right. So let me share screen right quick. Let me share screen. And so this is what it was at the red carpet at the VMAs, right? Machine Gun Kelly's wild VMA night include apparent skirmish with Conor McGregor, baby daddy shout out from Megan Fox. All right. Okay, let's take the first half of this. Machine Gun Kelly, who is a hip hop artist, was at the VMAs with his girl Megan Fox, and a situation broke out between him and Conor McGregor. If you don't know, Conor McGregor was the first mixed martial artist who's contending under the promotional banner Ultimate Fighting Championship, who was able to work himself into a position to fight for the featherweight title, and he defeated Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. And then he moved up in weight from 145 to 170, fought Nate Diaz twice, went 1-1 there, and then dropped back down to 155 and fought Eddie Alvarez. He was the first one to become champ simultaneously in that division. Since being able to work himself up to a two-division champion, he was able to fight Floyd Mayweather and make the most money that I think any mixed martial artist has ever made in the sport. But check out this article, though. It said Machine Gun Kelly. It said the Video Music Awards says Machine Gun Kelly, right here, who started the night by getting into a reported red carpet tussle with a UFC superstar, ended it by smashing a guitar on stage, and in the interim was declared a future baby daddy by his very scantily and scandalously clad VMA date girlfriend Megan Fox. Like that has to do anything. Brooklyn Barclays Center on Sunday, mixed martial artist Conor McGregor and rapper singer reportedly nearly got into a brawl on the red carpet. A video tweeted by the VMA's attendee appeared to show McGregor lunging and shouting at Kelly as security guards restrained him. Now, check out this. It says, however, McGregor's publicist insisted to U.S. Weekly. Let me highlight this now, because media be feeding you some goddamn bullshit sometimes. Insisted to the U.S. Weekly that this story about the photo requested was totally false. Totally false, y'all. And told Entertainment Tonight that absolutely nothing happened. Insisting, let's quote it, I don't know the guy. This is Conor McGregor. We love to hear this, right? I don't know the guy. Nothing happened with me. I only fight real fighters. Once again, I repeat, I only fight real fighters, people that actually fight. You know what I mean? I certainly don't fight little vanilla boy rappers. He called him Vanilla Boy. He called MGK a vanilla boy. I don't even know the guy. I don't know anything about him except that he's with Megan Fox. All that shit is an absolute lie, y'all. That's an absolute lie. Look at the pictures. Conor McGregor and Machine Gun Kelly attended the 2021 MTV Video Music Awards at the Barclays. Now, if you don't know, MGK was at the UFC fight, so Conor McGregor absolutely knows who he is. And from my understanding, McGregor asked for a picture with MGK's girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Megan Fox. And MGK said, hell no. Nigga, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting no picture with my girl. This is how it's an absolute lie with Conor McGregor. Peep this out. He said he don't get into a fight except with real fighters, right? So what is this per se? What do we have here with Conor McGregor? Where's this shit at? Hold on for a second. Man, they busy want to feed you lies, man. Especially with Conor McGregor. They protect the shit out of Conor McGregor. He out here fighting hip-hop artists, man. You are a world champion. You had the opportunity to step in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. And you're out here fighting MGK. Or trying to fight MGK, rather. So peep this picture out and tell me, did Conor McGregor just lie? This is Machine Gun Kelly on the front end of Conor McGregor's attempted left hand. All right? Because we know Conor McGregor fights southpaw. He said McGregor looks like he's moving up with John Jones. I don't know what that means. McGregor looks like he's moving up with John Jones. Are you talking about outside the cage activity and criminality? He's nowhere close. He's nowhere close yet. John Jones still has that pound for pound spot. He's a different dude, man. MGK ain't in no fucking streets. Yeah, man. MGK is, he's one of those guys you look at that's did every drug possible. He's with a chick like Megan Fox who want a bad boy. No telling what goes on in between their personal life. But anyway, Conor McGregor is obviously throwing a left hand, and he tried to punch the man. Because from my understanding, Conor McGregor disrespected him. I mean, MGK turned down Conor McGregor's request for a picture with his girl Megan Fox, and he wasn't having it. So Conor McGregor felt disrespected and tried to punch the man in the face. That sounds like Conor McGregor. Like, Conor McGregor feels like he can pretty much have preference to do what he wants. He's Conor McGregor, man. He's notorious Conor McGregor. Why they gotta write that his shit about the girl Fox? Scandalous. Yeah, man. Vanilla Boy was that old man. He slapped a real fighter. No, the old man, Mitch, that he slapped in the pub, refused to drink Conor McGregor's whiskey, the proper 12 whiskey. He refused that. So Conor McGregor, once again, punched him with his left hand. It's a routine here. Conor McGregor is swinging. He's a southpaw fighter. So he's used to swinging with his left hand, his power hand. And he hit the old man in the head for not wanting to drink or indulge in his proper 12 whiskey. Exactly. It was an old man. That man was like in his 70s or 80s. Conor causing commotion for that promotion. It's at a point right now, man, like boxing. Boxing has a lot of individuals that come into the sport with criminal backgrounds, or we can also consider boxing not to be a sacrilegious sport or an organization that exists with principle and morals. You're not going to force boxers to show up to a boxing match like the NBA forced their players if they wasn't playing, or when they walked into the arena to wear suits. No, it's not. It's not happening like that. I don't think boxing would ever, unless they're willing to fund it, they would ever have that organization or that rule setting to have their fighters dress a certain way to clean up the sport. No, the sport needs to be cleaned up in many other ways than that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the mixed martial arts, they don't care. It's been fighters who went to prison that was mixed martial artists for doing crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's been plenty of them. That's a whole nother live, man, I need to do on mixed martial artists who's went to prison after competing. But Conor McGregor, man, he's on his way there. He has so much money. He's making millions off of proper 12 whiskey. He's on his way there. Watch what I tell you. He's gonna be involved in something, man. I've heard so many rumors that he's drinking. He gets unlimited whiskey since it's his, and he's been indulging in that a little bit too much, along with allegedly recreational drugs. Why do you think his body is falling apart? Like Dustin Poirier beat this motherfucker down twice. You know what I'm saying? He stopped him in the rematch, and he ended up winning the fight in a trilogy. Conor McGregor does not look like the old McGregor who actually made his legendary run from featherweight to welterweight, back down to lightweight, transferring over to boxing and making multi-million on one boxing fight, and his record was 0-0. You know what I'm saying? Those days are quite over for Conor McGregor. He doesn't seem like the same fighter because he's out there enjoying his freaking earnings, man. He enjoying that bag. McGregor looking like he's 200 pounds. Man, McGregor's up here. For one thing I would say about this guy, it just seems like his wife is pretty much understanding who she's with. And he's able to go out here and do what the fuck he want to do. Whether it's being accused of sexual assault, stomping on a fan's phone, you know what I'm saying, punching an old guy in a pub, being into it with the mob. I mean, Conor McGregor is out there, shawty, man. He's a loose cannon. When I tell you he's a loose cannon, shawty, for real. But that's Conor McGregor, man. That's what he does. I'm not gonna spend too much time giving him shine because the dude, man, he's on his way. Watch what I tell you. It's not gonna take long before him to be in a situation that his money can't get him out of. You know what I'm saying? Just look at the situation he had at the Madison Square Garden, where he came in there fucked up with a bunch of goons, and he tossed a metal dolly at the team bus with his MMA compeers on there who was competing that night. Broke a window, injured some of the fighters on there, which he had to settle in a civil suit outside of the UFC. Right? Went to court, and they slapped him on the hand with 5 days community service. 5 days, y'all. You can't tell me money don't talk. 5 days. Doug Rose Namajunas couldn't fight that night. I believe he injured Michael Chiesa, Ray Borg, and even Khabib Nurmagomedov, who he was doing all this for. He was on the bus, and Khabib really wanted to get that smoke. Khabib was on there. Obviously, he didn't have his whole team on deck right there, but Khabib really wanted that smoke, man. I believe Khabib would have got off that bus with or without his people. I don't think for 1 second Khabib was scared to get off the bus and goddamn go with it with Conor McGregor. I don't look Khabib, an individual who fought up, who grew up with a dad. He believed that Khabib didn't have no way, shape, or form any fear of getting off that bus and going to war. No one can convince me of that. But for Conor McGregor to show up with like 15 dudes, all for Khabib and his, it would have been all bad, man. And just to prove my point, not to go too far off topic, just look at when Khabib defeated Conor McGregor the first time. Look at it. He went in there and he heard Dillian Dennis on the sideline in the crowd talking shit, and he like turned around and threw his mouthpiece and said, "Man, shut your fucking mouth. You wasn't even in the ring. Fuck you." And then Khabib went over there and scaled the cage, and all hell broke loose, man. From my understanding, Khabib was fined $500,000 for that melee. Conor McGregor was fined $50,000. Man, come on with that shit. Khabib is not that dude to try to stun on like that. This man jumped into a crowd. He didn't give a fuck who was out there. He had already subbed out Conor McGregor in 4 rounds and went back in there, went back out in the crowd to handle business with his goddamn cheerleader, Dillian Dennis. Conor McGregor, I salute him for being able to come over to the UFC with 2 losses, make a name for himself by stopping Jose Aldo in 13 seconds, and then achieving a feat that has never been done in the UFC before. So I salute him for his mixed martial arts achievements as a champion, as a competitor. I salute him for that shit. But now he's earned all the wealth. The wealth is destroying this dude. Like Conor McGregor's looking older. That's what whiskey does to you. Whiskey make you look goddamn 10 times older. Like whiskey make you look like a meth head. Real talk. And let me give you. I forgot to go through this earlier, but let me show you the definition. Okay, that's all I got on Conor McGregor, man. Let me show you the definition of Alana McLaughlin name. All right. So hold on for a second. Her freaking a hiss or whatever. Let me get this picture off here. Look, social media name is at Lady Pharaoh, right? Pharaoh is definition of Pharaoh. You know, I have to break this shit down when I feel like it. in a wild state, especially after escape from captivity or domestication, resembling a wild animal. So Lady Pharaoh means this dude is somehow, when you say wild, in his case, mentally, he may be somewhat in a state that is impeding on his sanity. Like he may be a confused individual. He's just trying to find himself. He said Lady Pharaoh, he's a wild what? He's a wild lady? I mean, he's better off saying, man Pharaoh. You just a wild boy out here, you're trying to find your way. But his Instagram is at Lady Pharaoh. And he's basically saying he's a wild woman out here. And in my opinion, he's just trying to find his way, his direction. He's trying to attempt to locate his solace, dial in and calibrate his center. I think that's what's going on with this cat. He's just trying to find himself and dial it all in, man, to be accepted. I just look at this in a case. I don't know why these white guys wait to they're 50 something years old, in their 40s, 50 some years old, to become a woman, aka Caitlyn. I don't get it. And the wild part about it, I said this way, way back when I saw Bruce Jenner, his process when what he was able to accomplish and pull off. I never looked at him as a person where I said, I bet he's getting all the women in track. You know what I'm saying? Even when I seen him with hold on for a second. Yeah, I'm back. When I seen him with his wife, all right, I never quite understood what they had going on. I didn't see him as being that dude inside the bedroom that was satisfying her. Something was absolutely wrong with that picture. I was like, what is this? Is this just a common law marriage? Is this just a situation? Is this an accommodation between these two? Because I just didn't see Jenner satisfying. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I just didn't see where the connect was. I didn't think he was laying it down in between the sheets. I just never looked at him, even when he was running track. I didn't see him as a person that was getting all the women. Even though he was competing at the highest level, I just didn't see this dude like giving him the check mark. That dude's a freaking alpha competing at the highest. I never seen that. I just felt that he was blessed to be able to do what he did. And there was that always that hairstyle, that indication, there's just a little bit of window to say some ain't all the way there with this cat. And then it ended up presenting itself right now as we see it. He waited till he was damn near 90 years old to become a woman. And now he's trying to run for a political seat in California. That ain't happening. California, that state over there has its own rules. And even though they support a lot of stuff in certain areas, in certain pockets of California, they don't want to wake up to the TV and see Caitlyn Jenner as their governor. Absolutely not. So let me take this out, man. Absolutely not, people. And my final topic, right? I kind of spoke on this before, you know what I'm saying? I have to speak on it again. Um, I've had the opportunity to sit back and listen to certain people speak on Evander Holyfield performance inside the ring. And you were talking about the individual who's accomplished a lot, but you cannot criticize the media or the voices that are speaking on this situation with Evander Holyfield as if it interferes with what he's been able to accomplish as a legendary professional boxer. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with it. It has a lot to do with the now. The now is that he was 58 years old and he never should have been approved down there in Florida to fight. That is the now, y'all. Evander Holyfield looked bad, shouty. He looked bad from his balance to being able to settle down and handle the onslaught of Vitor Belfort. Anybody who follows mixed martial arts know that Vitor always had fast hands. And though there's a 14-year difference, Vitor Belfort came into this organization knowing that there was no drug testing. So of course he felt good. At the open workout, Vitor was talking his shit. He went in there and blasted Evander Holyfield. He shouldn't be allowed to fight in the ring again. Because if Evander Holyfield shows up to an exhibition bout again, he may potentially get his ass hurt. I haven't heard Evan Holyfield speak on it. That's his pops. I'm pretty sure. Junior middleweight contender Evan Holyfield isn't going to have too much to say on it. But the fact that his pops got in there and was blasted, I'm pretty sure his son Evan is getting some inboxes, people hitting him up on social media. Some might be in support and saying, you know what, we fuck with your pops. We respect the shit out of him. Please don't have him step in the ring again. And then you have the other community as the trolls. You know, the trolls step in there and say, God damn. Do I really have to tell you what I think or what I seen? I just hope they don't allow Evander Holyfield 58, 59, 60 years old to get approved. He said he wants a rematch with Vitor Belfort so he can show him. No, you had the opportunity, bro. Like, okay, now we're going to go back into consideration that he didn't have a long training camp. At his age, he cannot have a long training camp, right? So let's just say they give him 6 weeks. Is 6 weeks going to be enough for Evander Holyfield at 58 to prepare for the younger Vitor Belfort? I don't think so, man. This is not Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson. I can go on to say I believe that Mike Tyson will destroy Evander right now. That look, that may be a fight in the future that they attempt to make, but I don't know where they're gonna sanction it because Mike said he wasn't fighting for Triller no more due to money issues. I mean, it's out there, it's public record. Roy Jones Jr., legendary boxer Roy Jones Jr. said the same thing. You know, they wasn't paid all their money. But if Mike Tyson goes in there and walks through, we're talking about the performance that he had against, you know, when he was in there with Roy Jones, the performance of both of them, really. But that Mike Tyson goes in there against Holyfield and knocks him out, he might just smoke that toad right in the middle of the ring before he even leave. Mike Tyson might blast off on your ass in the ring, smoke some shit, a freaking psychedelic. He might smoke some shit we ain't never seen before and start levitating in that bitch. I did it. I told you I'm better. At this age, I'm better. Holyfield, I told you I was always better than you, Holyfield. I'm younger than you, and I knocked your ass out, Holyfield. Man, I just hope y'all don't have that man stepping back into the ring, man. You know what I'm saying? And then this is a perfect example on why combat sports is an extremely tough sport to deal with in life, because there's one banner you should always remember that will be blinking at these fighters. That one banner the entire time they're competing. Remember, I said it. That banner says no retirement. That banner says no retirement. What I mean by that is no residual income for these fighters once they hang up the glove. No retirement. So these fighters stay in the game longer than they have to just to make a paycheck. It's good to do all access and show everybody your rides in your house, but can you stop working today? Do you have health care outside of boxing? Can you stop working today and sustain that lifestyle? In many ways, a lot of them, they can't do it. So we may see boxers fighting well into their 40s, man. The ones who has a big name, who potentially makes hundreds of thousands and even millions, they may be fighting into their 40s. And we sitting up here talking in the hospice care. I'm up and saying, I remember when that youngin right there, I remember when he fought at this time. I can't believe he's still in the game. I can't believe he's still fighting. Damn, boxing ain't never changing. J.A. Dixon in the building, man. Salute to you, bro. Say salute, WCS. Everybody who followed Belfort knows he's the juice man. Absolutely, bro. Talk that, man. Let him know, man. Vitor know he wasn't clean that night. He knows he was on the juice that night. Money issues are easily remedied. So what you mean by that? Exactly, Bruce. What you mean by that? Jay Dixon said, "Do you think Mike was clean for that Roy fight?" I don't know. Okay, the answer is no. He wasn't clean. Okay. When you say clean, first of all, he recommended they don't test for marijuana, first of all. So to me, first of all, we don't know what he had, what he was smoking before he stepped into that ring. So no, he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And also Triller wasn't testing. Triller was not testing. So if you have fighters at that age, do you think they're going to come in clean? People have to understand, performance enhancing drugs is against the law in certain sports, but people take them in life. They shouldn't make a big deal out of it unless you're trying to get an edge as a professional athlete to compete in a sport that has a ban list of that particular substance that you currently are taking. That's when it should become an issue. You know what I'm saying? If it's against regulations enforced by whatever sport that you're competing in, that's when it's an issue. The answer is no. But what you meant, Bruce, about money issues are easily remedied? Like, what do you mean exactly by that? Boxing has no retirement. So during that time, you have to establish a gym. It's according to how popular you are. You have to do something. Train. You have to build something up, and it's difficult for a fighter to do that. That's not making millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson would fight for Triller if the cash argument was taken care of and it's easy to do. What I meant is cash issue can always be resolved. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. The cash issue can absolutely be resolved with Triller, but I'm not sure why if that is indeed true, I'm not sure why they didn't pay Roy and Mike they back end money or whatever. I'm not sure. But Roy Jones, he spoke on it. So it's not something I'm making up. He spoke on the shit. And right now, no drug testing or whatever. I'm not saying that it can't happen if they fall on Showtime. They just come in there and fight as they see fit. Look at Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. We didn't hear anything about, drug testing, and they fought down in Florida. Come on, man. You can see the writing. Look, this Triller card was just in Florida. Floyd fought Logan Paul in Florida. It's an extremely amount of fights that's going on. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Of individuals that I believe who are absolutely coming in there with some juiceables. For real. They coming in there with some enhancements so they can perform right. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about PEDs, it doesn't improve your technical skill set. So you can come in there as you are, but you can still get your ass whooped. Seriously. Personality issues or something else. Yeah, man, Mike Tyson, he's on some different shit right now. So I can't really call it with that guy. Real talk. I can't call it. Seriously, I cannot call it with that guy. I mean, if you get to call the hot box with Mike Tyson, you better be prepared. For real, you better be prepared because that dude switch up the topic of discussion quick. Nigga, I'm a god, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. You ain't shit, nigga. You thought you was gonna come in for a god and take over the conversation? No, I'm Mike Tyson. I don't fear no man. I mean, Mike Tyson, he's on a whole nother mental stratosphere right now when it comes down to it, man. Mike on some different shit, dog. He's on some different shit right now, dog. For real. But man, y'all, it's been a pleasure, man. I wanted to jump in here and talk about, Elena McLaughlin, how I feel about the situation with the transgenders competing in the sex that they're trying to become, even though they was born the opposite sex, whether it be a man transition to a woman or a woman transition to a man. I think the advantage holds clearly that a man transition to a woman. I don't believe that those hormone levels are equal to that of the woman that they're competing against. That's just me. And in this case with McLaughlin, he was a former Green Beret, man. So he has that advantage. You know what I'm saying? He was building his body up as a man before he started the transition. So, man, you know what it is. Appreciate y'all for pulling up, man. Share the content. Hit the like button. And, donate to the channel if you see fit when you're on here. Listen to the live. Until next time, tune in to World Combat Sports, man. I'm out.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh?
Let me answer these last questions. Let me not be rude to answer because I didn't see all these questions over here, man. Somehow it didn't register. I got them all. I thought I missed some prior to, but cool. I got them all. Appreciate everyone for pulling up, man. I'm out.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin, I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a sixth sense for imposters, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the Sandman. New York, London to Japan, I'ma show the whole world who I am.